wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast.
Come? Alright, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Ah!
Hey Dave,
Hey, Butter.
as we all know, Halloween's coming up, and we want just a public service announcement from us here at Nerd Glasses. We want to make sure that everyone is safe trick-or-treating. Parents, make sure to check your kids' candy. I heard they got Doom running on a Snickers, so you just need to be very careful.
You got to be really careful about that. That's a gateway to immediate gaming. Oh, I liked that one. I liked that one a lot. Like
we were talking about how, like, especially this year, there's been a really good surge of, like, I found X in a Snickers. You know, we saw, like, a Union card. There, I forget a lot of the ones that I've seen. I might have actually seen the Doom one, but I forget. It's a kind of obvious joke as soon as you start to try to think of it, but it's good.
nobody loves your kids enough to give them free drugs. Nobody. So stop it.
Yep, I've definitely seen some well-reasoned. Why would I go here, do this, drop this much money just to give it to your kid that's gonna be high on sugar for the next week?
By the way, welcome Larson 5 from North Carolina, Kakalaki. Hope you're having a great day, and thank you for joining us.
Doom is the most Christian-friendly game. I don't think most parents would mind. I mean, there's that. There's also Diablo running on a Kit Kat. There's a lot of games in that genre.
You could make the argument you're fighting demons. You're fighting demons as a God-fearing American.
You know they're American because of all the guns. Actually, I saw something recently of getting Doom to run in Doom. So it's just circling right back.
I want it. I want Doomception so bad.
Well, it's like how a few years ago people got Minecraft to run in Minecraft.
Did they?
Yeah.
I bet that looks hilarious. I bet the soundtrack is
Redstone
awful,
is
though.
wild, yo. Anyway, I get to keep that joke for next week.
There goes the program. Redstone is wild, y'all. Good night, everybody.
So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's having a good time. Normally right at the top of the show, we talk about Twitch ban. I was unable to find a ban from Twitch this week. I do have other news concerning streamers on Twitch, concerning a streamer on Twitch, but we are going to save that for a little bit later in the program instead of kicking off with that. So this week we're going to start off with, Dave, what's coming out in the next 7 days? What games do we have to look forward to? What do we need to get hype about?
Well, I'm already overstimulated, and that means one of few things. There's a Batman game, there's a Kaiju game, and there's both! So, I've got four titles for us.
So there is a Batman game.
Yes.
There's a Kaiju game.
Yep.
And then there is Bruce Wayne punching Godzilla. Actually, hold on. That was in Ultimate Showdown. So
I was going to say.
Never mind. I buy it. Go ahead.
It happened in both Ultimate Showdown, and I know for a fact he has fought kaiju-sized animals.
Did he actually interact directly with Godzilla in that song? I don't think so. Hold on. Godzilla was hopping around Tokyo City like a big playground, and suddenly Batman burst from the shade and hit Godzilla with a bat grenade. Okay, sorry.
I was going to say.
There we go.
It's the beginning of the song.
Okay.
So, these four trailers upcoming will be presented in...
This is now my lower arm. Okay?
Division.
My lower arm, it can do that.
The first trailer coming to Windows, Mac, PS4, 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Luna, and what would have been a title for Google Stadia if it had have made it. On the 28th is the Jackbox Party Pack 9.
Nice.
Featuring Fibbage 4, Quixart, Junktopia, Non-Sensory, and Roomerang. All sorts of hilarious games that are going to get you, the player, involved with the streamer or the host of the games. I will be buying this, and I will be streaming it at some point. When it is, we'll have to figure out when, but these all look like a great amount of fun. I'm actually really looking forward to Fibbage 4, even though it is the 4th installment of Fibbage,
Right.
but it's just a great game. And
It
they
is the kind of thing that like you're just it's a game you love so much and you're just ready for new prompts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent title, and I cannot wait to play it with all of you folks out there, and I hope you guys get it and enjoy it for yourselves. The next game will be coming out on the 19th. It's just for the Nintendo Switch. This one is a big title for me, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher.
Oh God.
You enter the daily life of a kaiju breeder.
Oh wow.
You are banding together with the monsters from the Ultraman Kaiju universe to train them, to fight them, to level them up, and combine them. Now, I know what you're thinking. I heard the words Monster Rancher in the title.
Yeah.
That you did. And they are going to be using, in past iterations, you would use other discs, CDs, other games, things like that, while playing Monster Rancher to free other monsters.
Right.
In this particular game, with the Nintendo Switch, you will be using NFCs, not NFTs, you fuckwits. Near field communications.
NFC is the same tech that enables like Apple Pay and stuff like that. It's basically, let's see. It's also like if you have the cards rather than a key fob to get into your car. It's all it's this. It gets close. It says, "Oh, there's a thing there."
Your car keys will be able to unlock you a monster as long as your car has NFC chip inside the key fob.
Interesting.
So it's advertised phones, tablets, laptops, etc. will be able to get you and net you more monsters that you can use to level up your monsters you're training. This is a day one purchase from me,
I work
regardless
at a
of the fact
dealership. I'm getting all the things. I
that
just go
I
into
am-
the key room and I go, "Gimme!"
regardless of the fact that I am incensed with the fact that this will not be coming out in a physical edition. I will be buying this day one. And it is, in fact, $49.99, so it is a
Alright,
real game to
alright.
Dan by the quantifiers.
Nice.
The
Nice
next
little bit of
game...
a discount while still being a real game.
Oh, yeah. The
Japanese
next game...
version is physical. Does the Japanese version have an English language option? Because I've occasionally gotten games from Japan, from Korea, that still have an English language option, but because they're not region locked, oh, there you go. So maybe you get yourself an import for your physical version. But at the same time, you don't want to wait, so I imagine you're getting it digital anyway, right?
I might wait. I might wait because I know this game isn't going to change much.
Yeah, it's not like a multiplayer game that you need the zeitgeist of immediate
Yes.
being in the first wave of stuff. Yeah.
The next game will be swinging into the is advertised for Windows, Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, and Xbox One and the Series X. You're going to be gathering the boys for Warhammer 40k Shooters Blood and Teeth. Your orcs in a run-and-gun platformer. 4 hulking boys on a quest to ute some humies, get some Tyranids, and maybe cause a little chaos for the Horde.
Castle Crashers.
It is very much like Castle Crashers, but instead of being puny little Yumis, you're playing as the War! I cannot understate how excited I am for this game. I am 100% in for the Warhammer 40k games, and the fact that it is local and online co-op with 4 players is going to be amazing. More DACA! Exactly, Taco Pill! God, yes! This game, as long as I can secure a copy, will be the end of the spoopy month for the weekend Wednesday. And I, look at that! You're fighting a Titan with yourself and your muscles!
That looks amazing.
This game it was very much fun, and I really, really cannot wait to get into
You're
it.
gonna get yourself that big collector's edition with all the stuff.
So unfortunately, the collector's edition really hasn't gone on sale yet anywhere.
Interesting.
I have been keeping an eye and an ear out for it, but it looks like, just like Stray, I'm just going to be and Sifu, I'm going to be buying a copy, enjoying the hell out of it, but then potentially being weak and buying another copy when the collector's edition comes out.
That's fair.
Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher will have an English option in the Japanese version. Well, if you subscribe and donate down below, you can get Dave a copy of that. The last game is less in the Dave exclusive wheelhouse, unless you're with me on all those weird things. This one's coming out on the 21st for Windows, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X. This one was originally going to be coming out for the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, and they announced in the development, namely, our wonderful friends at WB Montreal had to focus the project to be able to finish it and make it the best product possible by not making it available for every platform.
Yeah, and before we go into the game, like, we talked about this with Cyberpunk, where Cyberpunk 2077 released on those platforms, but they shouldn't have. And I feel like we've also done a news story sometime in the last 6 months of just conditions at WB being really bad as far as game focus goes. So it's good to hear them, reducing scope at least a little bit.
Yes.
Anyway,
so
what's the game?
This game is slamming onto those consoles. It is Gotham Knights. It's the first game where you're able to explore the groundbreaking storyline of the Court of Owls as a nemesis, as well as one of the comic arcs for Batman where Batman is no more. And you are the group of people left in the wake of Batman's absence.
I've heard of this.
Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, Tim Drake, and Red Hood have to pick up the pieces in Gotham City with Batman's absence. I am over the moon about this game and yet apprehensive to purchase it, considering the last WB game that I purchased was not so good. But I'll probably be swinging for it around the holidays as this game comes out. This one looks like it's going to be a fantastic storyline. You are attempting to, as all of, again, the Bat family, continue on the legacy, fight the Court of Owls, and get things in Gotham back to the normalcy of bad guys in Arkham Asylum and crime running in the streets. The rogues gallery of Batman are in full force in this game, visually very stunning, and storyline-wise will be worth the price tag alone, if they even follow an iota of the comics. And if they choose not to, there is still a fat stake of story.
It's such a like, I could care less if they follow what the comics do. Like, it's not an arc that I've read or anything, but it's such a great launching point for a story to have these characters with a legacy left to them and having to deal with that.
It's a really, really good story, and I cannot wait to share it with you all. Gotham Knights, October 21st. Windows, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. Pre-orders are literally everywhere right now.
Nice.
And that's all the gaming we have coming up in the next 7 days.
There is a non-zero chance that Batman shows up to kick ass in the end. It's kind of if you expect someone to stay dead, you're a fool. But it's the kind of thing that I would expect, but at the same time would be disappointed by, because it would undercut so much that had happened. In my opinion, if Batman shows up at the end and is like, "Ha, look at me, I'm kick ass," if he does anything more than show up and be like, "You kids are doing good," and then disappear again.
Does the Alfred Pennyworth nodding over a newspaper in a cafe in South America?
Exactly. Yeah, he shouldn't even be there or say anything to them. Just maybe he approves and they don't have to know that.
I will spoiler alert for you that Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood don't want Batman's job. Nightwing's got a whole nother city to deal with. Batgirl has better things to do. Robin is... You're the B team. Sorry, pal. And Red
Don't you have
Hood
some Titans to run? Get out
has
of here.
a whole host of... totally forgot about that. Like, a whole host of mental health issues to deal with and not Batman's bullshit.
Yeah, the Rogues Gallery will never know what hit them. They're used to, like, Batman's brand of mentally unstable. And then they're like, oh, no.
I'm really hoping...
All of the damaged children he's adopted.
Oh God, the playpen was left open and they're all here. The thing that interests me the most is, as a very big fan of the character the Penguin from Batman's Rogues Gallery, I like the way he looks in the game, but I also like the fact that it's Dick Grayson talking to him while he basically sits there going, "You're so fat. I'm not dealing with this." Like, I can't wait to see how that interaction alone is worth the $70 I'm going to spend to get it for my PS5. That alone.
Nice.
Like,
looking forward to those. In the meantime, what have you been playing these last 7 days? What are you watching?
well, I have been watching the MLB postseason.
That sounds fascinating. I'm going to go get some water. Steve, do you want anything? Keep talking.
I'm really excited that we just a minute ago had the New York Yankees advance. They will be starting their postseason journey. Tomorrow they have to be somewhere else because this game today got delayed from yesterday. So they're going on nose days rest. That's going to be an interesting storyline. Also pretty pleased, as a person that wears a San Francisco Giants hat, that Boder, let me just, if I'm really happy about this, did the Dodgers make it further into the postseason?
Sure.
You're damn right they didn't. They choked it away like an idiot at a buffet. They just and San Diego slammed Diego.
I take offense to that. I have been the idiot at the buffet so many times.
Steve just gave me the bird, by the way. And I'm really looking forward to postseason for the MLB this year. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. So I've been watching that as much as possible.
Hold on, Steve. Have you been the idiot at the buffet? No, I'm a Dodgers fan. Oh, you're a Dodgers fan? All right, I have less sympathy for you.
In the Playmaker MLB League, I am the San Francisco Giants and the Seattle Mariners, who, by the way, didn't choke away their postseason opportunity. And Steve was the New York Yankees and the New York Dodgers. The Brooklyn Dodgers, not the LAX team that they became in recent memory. So that's what I've been watching. What I've been playing is Overwatch 2. I've been playing as much as I possibly can. Have been having just the greatest time with it. And that goes into the fact that, Boder, this past Friday I had something incredible happen.
Yeah.
The game reduced the player size from 6v6 to 5v5, and I was really, really excited to have played with my usual crew that tunes in on Friday, things like that. By the way, twitch.tv/DAM314. Overwatch 2 is free. We have taken players of all skill levels, and we were playing, and I got a message from one of the leaders of the old Overwatch group I used to be able to play with. And I was very, very excited to have my Overwatch Friday group play against Johnny, Dan, Tom, and Mike in so many custom games. It was awesome.
Nice.
It was such a fun thing as to see where I was as a streamer, where I am as a streamer, and to have all these people in one place playing a game that we all love and being ungodly combative back and forth. You might be proud, you might be a little bit ashamed, but our producer here may or may not have dropped the first teabag during the games and then incited no less than chaos upon dropping the bag on Tom, and it went off to the races from there. It was just so much fun. and I really have to say that I'm very proud of my play group because we came from people that had never played the game previously
Mm-hmm.
to holding their own against some very competitive people who are very good at Overwatch, who are very skilled at it, who know where to be and how to do, who know how to function as a team. So I was very proud of everybody throughout the duration of it, including Steve, who quit right away. Steve wanted in right away when he found out we were doing it, and then I was like, no, Steve, you were cooling your heels over there in the bullpen, and then Steve was invited to come in, came in, had a really competitive match, and Steve decided he was going to opt out.
Fun.
So that's what I've been playing and watching. What about you, Boder? What have you been up to?
A quick question in chat. Is there a TV show coming out based on Overwatch? Is that a thing?
I haven't heard. I've heard murmurs and rumors about it, but nothing concrete and nothing in the works.
So you're gonna kind of hold off on forming opinions of it until something's actually announced?
I mean, you know what they do have under wraps right now? It's the PvE, which is going to be chock full of storyline and things like that.
True.
And I have no issue with the fact that at the same time they release the game, they start an episodic thing where the comic books that they write, which are these short stories, get either an animated or, God help me, live action release. That would be just mwah.
Let's see. So for myself, I've been watching Andor, which was amazing.
Good.
Episode 6. So I don't want to spoil anything. The first 3 episodes kind of formed their own arc. The first 2 did some setup with the third one punching through all of that and really making the best of that setup. A friend of mine got through episode 2 and he was like, "Oh, I can't. This is boring. Nothing's happening." I'm like, "Give it a third episode." Any show that you are unsure about, watch 3 episodes. Then if it doesn't hold you, then go. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Andor did the same thing. 4 and 5 were a lot of setup, explaining the stakes, explaining how this heist might go, learning new characters, learning the environments that we were at. So that when episode 6 hit, from the first minute, it was so tense and my heart was pounding in my chest, and it held that tension right up until the end of the episode. And you can't do that without 2 episodes of setup to get there. It was so good. This is such great Star Wars storytelling.
Yes.
I finished playing Immortals Phoenix Rising. Got
Nice.
through the storyline on that, and it's been an enjoyable enough ride that I'm now trying to 100% all the stuff on the map. Before I go into the 3 different DLC packs, I'm going to be on this game for a while, but it doesn't feel as overwhelming about this kind of thing. So, yeah, enjoyed how the story played out. Just generally a good game, a good story, and not quite as overbearing with the checklist of things to do in the open world as other Ubisoft open world games
Nice.
are. Not quite as chill about it as Horizon Zero Dawn, but more chill than Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I heard there was a pinball level.
There was. I forgot to give you the video. I forgot. There was a vault where you literally play pinball. You have 2 little pedestals and they move the flippers, but like one of the forms of puzzles is moving boulders around. So it launches a boulder into what is obviously a pinball table that is, these boulders person size. So it's this huge scale thing just off the path that you can walk on. And you got to go over and hit the flippers on either side to destroy boxes that are in the way, to sink it in a hole in the middle, to then progress in the vault.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I need to remember to get that to Steve. I can show it next week. It was really cool looking. And then the other thing that I quote played was a thing for work. I work at a Hyundai dealership, and the Ioniq 6 is an electric car that's going to be coming out next year, and they released a VR experience for it. So I installed that on my computer, did that on my headset, and it's this basic being able to walk around the car, being able to sit in the car while it shows you some features, and then a fun driving game that is, Hyundai makes great cars. Hyundai does not make great video games. That's something that's going to be coming out on the Garvey Hyundai channel. That was an experience last night. Saying this not in the capacity of I work there, but just as someone who tried it, that was janky as fuck. That was running through my head the entire time, and I'm like, I'm wearing the work uniform. I am representing the company. Do not say that on camera.
God.
Would you recommend the Hyundai Veloster? I mean, if you want a car that isn't being manufactured anymore, it's not going to be continued after the 23 model year, and I mean, I like small car. I love small car. So I get in one of those and I'm like, but at the same time, it's almost like, oh, I like small car. Ioniq 6 looks great. The Ioniq 6 virtual experience, not so much.
We still have 6 minutes in our poll for what are we trying today on the stream. So far, Spoopy Cereal is ahead, but Dracula Kisses and the Mystery Box could still win.
Options. During those 6 minutes, let's do the rundown for Empire Esports, for how the Bluebirds have done this past week.
You mean how the Bluebirds have crushed it regardless?
How the Bluebirds have played. It was a tough week. I'll wait for Dave to get... Don't break anything.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
Never broken anything in the studio ever, and there's never any footage of it.
I think we have footage. Okay. Anyway, last week was a really tough week for the Bluebirds. A lot of teams had bye weeks and then no matches to play. So they spent their time scrimming and practicing. Those that did play faced several all-star schools in both ECAC and SUNY leagues, culminating in the most losses that we've seen yet. But it's not all bad news, because we're about to see some really great shows of sportsmanship out of the Bluebirds. One of the SUNY Empire Warzone teams, Angry Keyboards, almost didn't get a match off last week. Between miscommunications and family emergencies, the Keyboards were ready to take the forfeit and call it a night with no game played. However, their opponents, SUNY Canton's Chalk and Kermit, were so eager to play that they agreed to a late reschedule, and the two teams had a blast into the night, not finishing the match until after 11. Canton did take the match 3-0, but Empire's Philly Blaze and Babyface had a great time against this rookie pair from esports powerhouse SUNY Canton. This week saw SUNY Empire's Madden Rockstar Fire Tigers' first loss, but it was a narrow one against a tough opponent. Wayne State College's Spider Monkey was also undefeated going into the matchup, and Fire Tiger only lost the first game by 3 points. The second game saw Spider Monkey pull ahead early, and in the third quarter, there were 5 points separating the two, but Spider Monkey scored an incredible 20 points in the last quarter. Fire Tiger finished the match by complimenting his opponent on his skills and keeping his head held high for his matchup this week against Carroll University's Newbie. Ending on a high note, we are again highlighting the SUNY Empire Valorant team that has been crushing it. After shutting down Penn State Baron Gold the previous week, the Bluebirds continued their pace and went 2-0 against Penn State Baron White this week. While it comes as no surprise that Recursive and False Dichotomy were at the top of their leaderboards for the Bluebirds both games, a previously unnoticed statistic was Empire's Death Contracts job of planting the spike. With 11 plants between 2 rounds, 7 more than anyone else on either team, and only 2 defuses from Baron White, it's clear that this is the teammate most trusted with such a crucial role in the path to victory. Several of SUNY Empire's teams face powerhouses like SUNY Poly, SUNY Canton, and Wayne State College this week. Empire's team stayed graceful in the face of defeat, keeping their chin up and enjoying the games, bantering with opponents, and keeping a positive mental attitude throughout the night. We're proud of how they kept their cool, and we cannot wait to see what they bring next week. That positive attitude is going to mean so much carried forth into their next matches.
Hell yeah.
Again, thanks to SUNY Empire for putting together this digest for us every week. We love being able to do this and report on how the teams are doing. We love seeing how Valorant, how they keep crushing it in Valorant, and we're looking forward to Fire Tiger killing it next
losing
time in
by a
Madden.
field goal and
Yeah.
having a game come apart at the 12th is nothing. In the fourth is not a something to feel too bad about. It happens, especially in sports.
Is it a vote or a guess? I mean, the way it's meant to be used is as a guess, but we're using it as a vote.
Put your points in, make your voice heard, win, and get in.
And there's what, 2 minutes? A minute 40 left in that
Yeah.
poll. So. Okay, so in the meantime, do you want to move on to another thing, or do you want to sit here in suspense for this minute and a half to go?
Well, you know what? I had something happen to me this week, Steve. This week from Steve.
Did you almost call me Steve?
No, I was angrily looking at Steve, and
I'll allow it.
could you switch the scene, by the way, Steve? Because this has nothing to do with the best esports team in all of esports, but it has a lot to do with the fact that I was exposed to something. I was exposed to an idea, a practice, a food that genuinely hurt my feelings, and I thought, who better to commiserate in my misery
Oh no.
and have to try it with me for the first time?
Dave,
but
is it
my
gummies?
good old friend Boder. No,
gummies?
no, it's severely worse than anything like that. It's awful, and I want to know if any of you have heard of Pilk.
I'm sorry?
Have you heard of Pilk, Boder?
I've never heard of Pilk.
Chat,
Is it piss milk? What is Pilk?
Have you guys heard of Pilk? Steve addressed
There's
me.
a fight right now over Spoopy Cereal and Mystery Box. They have been climbing hard. Hold up. There, 9 seconds left. Spoopy Cereal at 6,300. Mystery Box is 6,000. 5 seconds left. Mystery Box pulls ahead. 7,000. 7,000 for Mystery Box. 6,310. I think Mystery Box just took it.
Let's see.
Spoopy Cereal took it. Wait, no, hold on. Why does that show more points spent, but that still shows 50% for Spoopy Cereal?
So
No,
more
okay, no, that's points spent. 8.3 thousand points.
So as we do, it's the most points voted for wins the
Spoopy
prediction.
Cereal pulled it through in the last second.
So if you
Is
voted...
Pilk something that you would have with cereal?
I have some very unfortunate news for you that you don't know what Pilk is. Oh, Steve! Steve! You're making it off camera?
Making it? What are you making?
You know what then? I'm not going to tell Boner what it is. Can you please bring some vessels for us to try our Spoopy cereal, the winner of this week's prediction? The spoopiest of cereals. The most
What is going on?
scary of cereals. That's right. Captain Carhunch. Halloween edition.
Yes.
Halloween Crunch, sweetened corn and oat cereal that I am taking home, by the way, after this program.
Oh,
because
damn it. I wanted to.
I mean, do you want it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're
I
welcome.
love Captain Crunch.
Captain Carhunch. Oh,
What
God.
What-
Oh, God.
What? What am I looking at?
You know what, Steve? Never mind. We'll eat this dry. We'll really...
Is it something that's like a non-dairy, like coconut milk kind of thing, soy milk, but Pilk is like made of peas?
No. Now I'm imagining someone is...
He just brought out a couple of glasses and just set them down. I'm making it. And it's still, like, outside of the light. I can't see anything except that there's Beatles glasses over there.
That's even worse somehow. You can eat it however you choose, but this is how much I'm having.
I mean, I expect it to taste like Captain Crunch. I don't know exactly what would be different. He peed in the milk. That was my first guess. It's piss milk. Yeah, that's Captain Crunch. That's delicious. 100%. It's fun shapes, fun coloring, but like...
Oh, we already dove into
Oh,
it.
ghosts that turn milk green. Are there... I don't see no ghosts in here.
Yeah, the red-looking things.
Oh, these?
Yeah.
Turn milk green?
Apparently.
I will need some milk. I would need a bowl. I don't know.
So,
No.
I've got some bad news. Before you try that,
Okay. That's that.
before you give him the milk,
Coasters.
put the coasters up here so Steve can put the pilk on the coasters.
Every single time you say pilk, it injures my soul.
What
Yeah.
album did you get? What Beatles album did you get? Yeah!
That... So this has stuff at the top.
Oh, he's just drinking it! Ah, he's just... Ah, Steve!
Like, okay, I can't really show the camera. I can't tilt this forward, but like, you know when you make a root beer float and like the suds at the top like persist?
Mm-hmm. Here's the pilk.
That smells rancid. Steve, what am I putting in my body? Pepsi and milk. Okay.
Pilk! Pepsi and milk.
Yeah. So that's why, you know, kind of has that root beer float kind of thing.
Here's to pilk, Lily.
Not my tempo. Man, carbonation in dairy is just an absolute...
I gotta get ready for St. Jude's Play Live somehow, and so gastrointestinally torturing myself in October is a really good idea. Steve casually dropped pilk on me in the middle of the shift.
I
went
assume you mean figuratively, and that he didn't just take a glass and go, whoops.
You almost did. You almost did. Because he mixed it. He's like I'm gonna make some pilk, and I literally am standing there with my cold food, going, "The hell's pilk? What is this word you're using? I'm confused and frustrated." And so then I was like, I have to go tell Mike about this. And I did my usual thing anytime Steve does anything while we're working. And I scream, Mike, your employee's doing strange things. And meanwhile, there's Steve chasing me with the pilk.
I'm just imagining, yeah, chasing you down with a glass of it saying, try it, maybe you'll like it.
He did
Thank
try to
you,
chase
sir.
me down with it.
I got just a little bit here, and we're gonna see if this does, in fact, turn the milk green.
To give you an idea, that pilk makes me feel so sick. Oh my god.
Would you like some regular ass milk?
No,
Okay.
thank you. I think I'm gonna try to fight the fight. More like rigor mortis. Border had carbonation and dairy. It's gonna be a short citadel tonight.
Well, we're gonna get to it later, but I'm starting a new game on the Citadel, and there are 3 weeks left of the Citadel, so we gotta go as far as we can. Which also reminds, we'll definitely try to wrap up as we can. Anyway, while I wait for this to turn some milk green, there was a lot of discourse on Twitter talking about Bayonetta this week. Helena Taylor, who is the voice actress of Bayonetta, the title character, in the first and second games, she went public with her disapproval of Platinum Games. because she is not the voice actress for the third game. She felt that they lowballed her for coming back to reprise the role in game 3.
In a franchise, a big franchise.
Yeah,
That's
like
not
what's
a.
considered like one of Nintendo's biggest modern franchises. Hold on. Sorry, that was the pilk.
Steve's killed us. He's murdered us. We're going to die by the end of this program, and Pilk will have killed us.
Okay, so they lowballed her for how much they wanted her to work for, and then after responding and trying to negotiate, she said 4,000 was the best offer that she received. Which like for the main character in it, like voice actors compared to a lot of stars really get short shrift, especially if they're not big names. But like that just sounds awful for the main character of the game.
Yeah.
So she asked fans to boycott the game. She's like, yeah, there's an NDA, but what are they going to do? I'm already having mental health problems from this, and, I'm not making money, so they're going to take the clothes off my back? Like, I don't care. So a lot of people express their frustration at the game's creator, who aggressively blocked anyone who dared question him, and showed disdain for players, especially Western players, and his account was eventually disabled, whether by himself or Twitter, whatever, and then was brought back, but set to like only friends can reply kind of thing. And then a lot of people also pointed a lot of that vitriol to Jennifer Hale, who was cast as the character afterward. Let me tell you, I'm pretty sure Jennifer Hale ain't working for $4,000 to do the main character of a game.
Mm.
So it's the kind of thing that like people were upset with her, and the voice acting community was like, "Hey, she probably wasn't told what happened."
People were upset, and they went to the proper channels at first, then couldn't continue to bitch at the proper channels, so they went to literally anything they could grab onto.
Oh no, they went to that
Great.
as well, and
Great.
not just when the proper channels weren't there. And yeah, like a lot of voice actors were like, she probably didn't know. She's also probably under NDA and can't talk about it. Like she probably wasn't told, hey, we basically stole this part away from someone else to get a bigger name in the role. And she put out a statement today, basically kind of a non-statement, but it confirms that she's under NDA and says that she's always been an advocate for the voice actor community. Read between the lines, she's upset about how this happened, but she can't say it right now.
Yeah. So dumb. I really hope they didn't just offer this voice actress $4,000 for the entirety of the work.
That is what she says, and anyone attempting to contact Platinum Games or the director has not gotten a reasonable reply back.
Because to think about, so I did a little bit of voice acting for a video game in college. Now, this was a game where the main character didn't say any words. It was noises, sounds, and then different reactionary sounds to inputs, getting hurt, falling, dying.
Grunts and barks, they're
things
called,
like
yeah.
that. I spent 6 hours just doing that. Now, the game itself was probably 2 hours in total, and that's if you faffed about for a little while. Good God. And especially a Bayonetta game, which has a lot of dialogue and a lot of plot threads and a lot of characters. I really hope that's not true.
Yeah. I do want I hope that we keep hearing about this to like kind of get to the bottom of what exactly was happened, how much Jennifer Hale is making. So it's like, did they just completely screw the original voice actor out of it because they wanted name recognition? When really like the game name recognition goes more, and then this is just super negative press going around it as it closes in on release.
There was an addendum to it. I just sent it to you guys.
Da 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 da.
I mean, that's Bloomberg reporting on it. I don't know whether this is new. Platinum Games sought to hire her for at least 5 sessions, each paying 3 to 4,000.
For 4 hours in the studio each session.
That would make the total at least 15,000. In return, they say that the voice actress asked for a 6-figure sum as well as residuals. So she was very misrepresenting in her Twitter. Again, this is anonymous people with Platinum. In an email, the voice actress described this account as an absolute lie and said the Platinum was trying to save their ass in the game. And said that she stood by everything that happened. Hideki Kamiya, the director of Bayonetta 3 that I was talking about, who was very aggressive on Twitter, called the allegations sad and deplorable in a Twitter post.
More like rigor mortis, you are right. More human name recognition will cost more than paying the other voice actors, which is just like a discussion we were having last week, where why pay less for the voice actor of the video game Mario when you could play Chris Pratt, who has name recognition? People know Chris Pratt. You see
well,
that
like
name on
Jennifer
posters.
Hale is one of the few voice actresses in video games that has that kind of name recognition. But for it to be a recast, something like this is really slimy. Like if it's out the gate for like the first one, that's an amazing move. But here it's just really gross.
We'll certainly keep an eye on how this develops because thankfully, the news that we usually get is from reputable sources. This isn't like GameNews.com. It's sources that have to cite their references and actually have to talk to people before they write things, or fear of consequences be nigh. But we'll definitely have a look at as to whether or not, if it's true.
Yeah, it's Taylor's side is like being vastly underpaid. The studio side is almost like we were overly generous and they were asking for more, and that goes so far in the other direction that doesn't pass the sniff test either. So like I want to know, I want to know what the paper trail says. You know,
It sounds like exactly what happens in other groups and things like that, where negotiations were an offer was made. Hey, we want you to come back for this. Negotiations were opened. Negotiations went piss poorly from the offset, went right down the drain, and the company decided to seemingly, and actually they didn't say they rescinded their offer, but they decided to look elsewhere for talent to replace the character.
well, they said this is our
Yikes.
final offer, and she said no, I'm not working for that little, and then they went shopping elsewhere, according to Taylor.
Yikes.
I
That's-
wouldn't. That's kind of
that
greenish.
looks-
It's kind of greenish.
That's green.
Yeah.
That's more green than, well, here, let me give you,
Don't show a picture of milk. Yeah. Or yeah,
that's more green than it
that's
was.
greenish. All right. Take a picture. Throw it on our Discord.
I'm going to post that photo in the Insane Games TV Discord under Nerd Glasses topics.
With no other comments on it, so
Nope.
you folks know what that's going on about, and others have no idea because they're not tuning into Nerd Glasses. Their loss.
I'll just post it under general.
Okay. Dave, what have you got for a topic? And then after that, I do want to.
Well, oh yeah. Well, let's see. Boy, howdy, am I excited about some things coming up, going on. And you know what I'm the most excited about? Actually, you know what? I'll save this till after the story you have. Which is so much as I actually found a ban, and it's not a Twitch ban, but it is a ban regardless, because once again, play stupid games, win incredibly stupid prizes. This past week, Call of Duty League had a Resurgence Fortune's Keep 100K tournament, which invited everybody to play against professional gamers and streamers, things of that nature. And there was a who's who of Call of Duty streamers, except a particular streamer named Censor or Doug Martin was not on there, and people were curious about it. They said, Dougie, Dougie boy, Dougie, my D-man, what's going on? Why aren't you playing in this Call of Duty cash grab that you could easily win? And he said, "Oh, I got banned from playing."
Oh.
And his
Oh.
audience went, "Pourquoi, Dougie D. Freshest? The censor. Why would you get banned from a Call of Duty tournament?" And he said, "Well, remember all those tweets I made
Oh,
referencing
no.
cheaters in other games? And then I may or may not have went on to review another streamer, female streamer, and then specifically at the end of one of the videos, inferring cheating, inferring lack of skill, inferring a bunch of things, made a really creepy uh, uh, marriage proposal at the end of the video. Well, you played a really, and he said, remember those? And his fans went, yeah, but that was oh. You mean to say that this is run by a AAA publisher and they don't tolerate behavior like that, especially in a public forum? So kudos, Activision Blizzard, because that shit's not appropriate.
Dave, because we get to say it so little, say those 3 words again. Start.
Kudos, Activision Blizzard.
Okay. Don't get used to it, Bobby. But there you go.
Girls love a marriage proposal immediately after sexist accusations. Exactly, more like rigor mortis. You know who needs to hear about this? Oh, Bobby! Bobo! Hey!
What else can I help you with?
Well, now he's heard.
Good. I'm very glad about that. So he won't be playing in this particular event,
Okay.
and Activision is not sure he'll be participating in future ones, in which case you might want to start continuing to delete those tweets that you made
Yeah.
because they weren't funny, bro, and
Yeah.
nobody cares.
Yeah. As long as we're on the topic of how women in streaming are treated, this is going to be a somewhat heavy topic. We are not going to end the show on this. I know we're getting towards the end here, but you see that down there, content warning talking about abuse in relationships going forward. We've talked about Amaranth a lot on the show, whether it's been bans or her just in pushing boundaries and Twitch in a lot of places.
You've
And-
also heard every asswipe unsuccessful douchebag point at her specifically because she's what's wrong with the platform. Because I don't get viewers because they're all watching Amaranth sit in the pool.
Yeah, like for better or worse, she is kind of the face of the like horny guys watching female streamers kind of thing. Right? Like
Spoiler alert, they're not going to watch you even if she wasn't on the platform.
but and something that Twitch is bad with, and it's not necessarily Twitch, but like the viewership is the idea of parasocial relationships, of people believing that if they're a loyal enough follower, if they pay enough in subs and bits or whatever, that they have a chance to become that they are in some way actual friends, or that they have a chance for something more than that. And tied into all this, and I'll get to what happened a couple days ago. But tied into all this is kind of the idea for this genre of streamer that they need to present themselves as single and available in order to get that kind of income. And this really came to a head because on Sunday, Amaranth went live on her stream. And I think it was like a 2 or 3 hour stream, but in tears, saying that she's married, which was a shock to a lot of people. Right. And that her husband was being abusive. She showed walls of texts from him. He had controls over her financial situation and like threatening her, hey, do this or I'm donating X amount of your money to some bird sanctuary. All right, another 2 minutes have passed, donating more of that again, again, again. Threatening to kill her dogs, like a lot. I couldn't bring myself to actually watch the video on it. I read a lot of reporting about it afterward, but it painted this picture of like, here is someone who is suffering. And of course, there was this discourse of like, oh, well, maybe it's just an act, versus like, if a woman says she is being abused, believe her. Then see where it goes after that. But the problem is that a lot of people don't feel comfortable um, saying that they're in an abusive relationship because of this instinct to not believe someone. And so a lot of it was believe her. Um, there was an update today talking about it where she looked a lot better. She said that she had control over her financials at this point, that she was seeking financial and legal counsel, that her husband was, going to, was getting help. And it's the kind of thing that like some people are saying, well, that resolved really fast. Was this manufactured drama? And I'm like, no. In my opinion, I don't think so. I could see how it would seem like that because someone you hear about, here's someone who's an abuser, then like you hear about it for months and months and if not years on end, rather than just a couple days later, oh, they're gonna go get reformed. We haven't heard the last of this, I think. And this, seeking legal counsel and all that is probably like if she's seeking divorce or separation or anything like that. She's probably not comfortable saying that right out loud yet. I don't want to do the whole like trying to predict what celebrities are going to do kind of thing. But Amaranth is such a big name in gaming and especially in Twitch that it is something that is kind of worth bringing up, and that has been talked about a lot, in by other streamers who have been in that kind of situation. She's like, I would be forced to go on Twitch and, you know, sell myself for subs when all I wanted to do was go home and play Pokemon, kind of thing. Um, and it's the kind of thing that after today's update, I'm glad that she seems to be in a better place. I'm hoping that that's not like, he's got her thumb on her again and she has to pretend to be presentable. I don't know. It's a really hard and tough thing. Um, Even parasocial relationships where people feel bonded to content creators they see often, even if they don't have quote a chance with them. Yeah, like it's it's and of course like that was of course a gross thing too of people being like, oh, she was leading us on this whole time. It's like, no, she like if you
Ugh.
actually believe that she was leading you on, then you are part of a very big problem. Um, you know,
You
get help.
you have some self soul searching to do
Hmm.
when you perceive that people who are aesthetically pleasing or whatever to you, you perceive that because you give them stuff, they now have a more personable relationship with you.
Yeah.
Um,
Or you believe that they owe you something.
oh God,
Yeah.
just fuck right off if that's what you believe you get when you give people things. Um, support people to better them. Don't support them because you think they owe you
Yeah.
something. Then
So that's something I'm gonna keep an eye on going forward. It's the kind of thing that was really cool to see. Like, I'm not a fan of her content. I'm not a fan of a lot of the things that she does on Twitch and what it does for the platform, whatever. But at the same time, I want her to be well and to be safe. And there was a lot of that. Like, she is a very polarizing person, but for the most part, a lot of people rallied behind her on this. And that was a really like, yes, of course there were scumbags, but I think the majority of people rallied behind her, and that was kind of nice to see. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on this one going forward, as a news item. So
really
thank you, Steve.
awesome that she was able to use her platform to talk about what was going on with her. The strength that it took to be able to do that, and
Yeah,
especially
yeah, to come
and the
out to
forethought
have
to
the bravery to go live in that moment
and
and to
especially
share
the
that.
forethought to provide not only evidence but then talk about what's going on, how she feels,
Mhm.
how these things are being exposed to, things like that is in an era where everybody has a platform and a voice in these things. It's always a good thing when we see people who have a much higher platform and much more polarizing figure doing things, yes, to better themselves, because if you're in a situation like that, you should get help because that's not right. That shouldn't be happening to anybody, regardless of wealth you have or not. But it's awesome that, you know, yes, and that's exactly how we treat people who talk about this publicly.
Yeah,
Matters
so actually,
exactly
more
for
like
this
rigor
reason.
mortis brings up a great point. Recall that whenever someone publicly comes out and talks about this, it can help someone else recognize abuse and talk about it. And again, how we treat people who talk about this publicly matters for exactly this reason. It's the kind of thing that, like, if she comes out and is talking about abuse that she's gone through, she isn't going to hear you bad mouthing her, but your friends who are in abusive relationships are going to hear you, and they're going to know that they can't rely on you. So.
Say what you will about other people and other people's work, but just know that nobody's impressed
Mhm.
when
So,
you behave that way.
yeah, so again, kudos to people that, regardless of what you think of her as a content creator, stood behind her as a person. So, Dave, do you have anything to wrap us up today so that we do not end on that topic?
Ah, yes, I do. Can we have some Dave love before we close out? You absolutely will for the end of the program. But I've got some really cool news, something very important, and something we need Conspiracy Baseball for.
No, he's been hidden. He's been behind your chair the whole time.
Good. Can you get Conspiracy Baseball?
No, he's been
over
hidden.
here?
He hasn't been on camera. He hasn't. I guess he has to be
Oh,
on
it's
set.
important. It's so important that we get Conspiracy Baseball out here. Yes, Boder, hold him up. Hold him up for everyone to see. That's right, Boder and Conspiracy Baseball hanging out. So,
Make it good or he goes in the pilk!
well, ladies and gentlemen, have I got a story, a yarn to sell to you. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
This is my bad arm, Dave. You better make it
for
good.
the Silent Hill official Twitter doth teased us that tomorrow at 5, there's Silent Hill franchise news coming out. Not just one game, not just one television show, not just one Kojima working together. No, no! It's talking about the IP which has remained dormant and quiet since the whispers and murmurs of PT. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Pilk Bomb of news coming to you tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Oh my god, I could
Make
pilk
sure
board him.
to check out. No, it'll dissolve really quick. Clip, make it good or it goes in the Pilk. Ladies and gentlemen, we will find out what Silent Hill as an intellectual property has been going on. We will find out concretely as to whether or not Hideo Kojima is going to be a part of a Silent Hill franchise going forward. And in Conspiracy Baseball news, a picture was recently put on Kojima's official Funstagram. And it was a picture of him and Mr. World Premiere himself talking about the Game Awards, which made me think about the fact that we've got an even more successful award show that Insane Games TV wants further in on, and Boder and I will be discussing about it and then releasing
I know we've said
more
that for the
news
past 3
very
weeks, but, you know,
soon.
we're getting to it.
He has the power to produce Pilk
what
from
if
his
Boder
eyes.
drops it in and the pilk hits him in the face? Does he get superpowers?
Laser Pilk.
I don't want to cry pilk, Dave.
Suddenly, Boder just gets an irremovable amount of tin foil just in his hair.
We're done with that.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Silent Hill, as somebody that is a fan of the franchise, finding out what they're doing, what's going on, and things like that. But not to eat into the time for the Citadel. But Boder, what's going on the Citadel next?
If you can switch to game view for us, Steve, then, I mean, it would have been better a couple moments ago as it was going through the gameplay, but I am going to be playing Mirror's Edge. We have 3 weeks left of the Citadel. Oh, is game view not properly set up? All right, don't worry about it. All right, cool. Mirror's Edge is a first-person movement parkour game from 2007. Is one of my favorites. I'm really surprised that I never thought to play it on the Citadel, but it's perfect for the final game to play on it. I think it takes like 8 or 9 hours, and we've got 3 weeks left, so time to get to it. So I'm going to stop talking so we can move everything over. 5 minutes offline, 10-minute countdown, and I'll be playing Mirror's Edge on the Citadel right here, and I hope to see you there. Dave, if you'll close out for us.
Hey, friend. Why don't you lean in a little closer to whatever
Why don't you go
device
ahead
you're
and
watching
tap
this
your
on.
face on the screen so you're the one in focus?
Why don't you? I don't want to be in focus. Don't people need to see my?
I want you to
my
be in
blemishes?
focus.
People.
Thank you.
Hey, how you feeling? Genuinely, ask yourself that. How are you feeling? How have you been? How have things been going? How's the last month been treating you? The last week? The last day? Think about those things. Think about what's been making you feel those ways. Think about what you can do to change those things. And if they're successful, what you can do to perpetuate those. Don't chase highs and lows. Life's going to come and life's going to go. Life's going to ebb and flow. But please know that there are ups and there are downs, and they come very quickly and they move all around. There is help out there. Don't ever make a decision today. And I've been doing this on the weekend Wednesday. Will tangent for a second because this is a heavy topic on the internet, but if we don't talk about it, it seems to just not come in check. Suicide is not the answer. Your problems will still be there. And there is nothing happening to you that you can't handle. And if you feel like you're not in the moment to be able to handle it, there is help out there for you. There is. There's services, there are people, and everybody, everyone, whether you know it or not, whether you hear it or not, whether you feel it or not, wants you to be here. Don't ever make a decision today that affects you being here tomorrow. We need you. Every day. Win, lose, or draw. Okay? And if no one has told you today, if no one has told you this week, if no one has told you this month, if no one has told you this year, let me be the first one to tell you. You are necessary, you are important, and you are loved.
I was making a heart.
This has been another broadcast of the Nerd Glasses podcast for all of us here at Insane Game TV. He's been
Boater.
and I've been Dave Man. We'll see you on the Citadel. Good night.
Thanks, everyone.